Welcome back to Northern Sounds ASMR. I'm starting this episode as a more of a reboot. One thing I've been finding very hard in this handful of videos that I've done, albeit over a couple of months, it's only a handful of videos. Sometimes the sound is fine, sometimes it's terrible, and I think I've been too concerned with imagery rather than the sound. And sometimes you shouldn't do things until you're ready, and I don't think I was ready. But now I've decided that I'm going to basically reboot myself, and we concentrate on the sound, and we try and be a little more jolly, and we keep going. So what I thought I would do is I'd show you this fantastic catalogue, I suppose you'd call it. It's a collection of paintings from 1975 to 1990 by the amazing Fernando Botero. And my wife and I, we discovered his stuff. I've got a copy of that in my kitchen. We discovered him, well, certainly my wife did, when she was teaching in Bogota 1.5 million years ago, and introduced him to me, and we got to know him way back when we had some bars and restaurants. We used to have lots of his artwork on the wall. Obviously not originals, because I'm not a billionaire, but it's wonderfully colourful, it's wonderfully descriptive, it's larger than life. And he's if you don't know Botero, and in the UK we're not hugely aware of the man. The French, I think he lives in Paris now, the French call him the master. And he gets mobbed in the streets by young people. I suggest you go and look him up if you're interested in art in the slightest, and have a look at it. It's well worth seeing, and some very humorous pieces as well. A lot of these things are based on real people. You may, by the way, it's very, very warm here today. We're at 28, 29 degrees. And I'm in my therapy room. For those of you who don't know, I'm a hypnotherapist. And I have a very lovely therapy office here with 2 enormous 8-foot high, 4-foot wide windows. But they're south facing, so it's warm. The blinds are pulled down. And except for the very bottom, because the windows are wide open. So we may hear some traffic. We may hear some builders. We may even hear my dogs barking, yawning, that kind of thing. There may be a bit of life going on in the background. But as far as we're concerned, we're just having a chat between us, and we're talking about some of the pictures that Senor Botero has painted. There's a fascinating documentary on TV not that long ago, where he fled. He was being threatened by some bad guys, and he fled literally from his studio just outside Bogota in Colombia. And literally the paintbrushes were dropped with paint on, and there's pots with some kind of watery sauce, I don't know, thinners, I'm guessing, with paintbrushes in them, just left, and he just ran away before he was killed. I don't know the background, the story of that, but that's a remarkable thing to see. But I just love these things. Look at the colours of these things. It's really quite an English sense of humour to them. The big legs, big shoes, and down here with a top knot. Little poocheroo. It's even got a human face. Grandiose. Everything's grandiose. I think he saw the ridiculous nature of those in charge, and their big medals and their big sashes and their big swords, proving how important they are, and not least by their big hats. You've got to have a big hat to be important, haven't you? Some of it, as you can see, highly politically charged. Massacre of the Innocents, 1967. But let's look. Oh, there's a naked lady. see that. Now the sun's decided to come in at this angle. These are my favourite style of his, where there are lots of people. There's lots and lots going on. People are looking in a general direction, but there's nearly always one person, and here there's two of them. And they're staring straight at you. You can see these people looking straight at you. But he's hitching her skirt up and groping her breast and generally looking for a good time. I wonder if I can just maybe lose that little bit of flash of light on that. Give me a second and I'll see what I can do. There we go, that's a little bit better. These little flashes of light are where the threads are on my blinds. So I'm sorry, I can't do much about that, but we've got rid of the majority of the flash. Yeah, these things, these people staring straight at you, incredibly emotive, yet the faces, as you can see, they're blank. They seem dead, but at the same time they're having a good time. There's a remarkable also picture, I think, of the musicians. I assume it's in here. I've got a copy of it on my wall in my dining room. And there's his self-portrait. There he is there, the man himself, with the matador César Rincon. And there he is, a self-portrait as a matador in 1988. So he paints everybody hugely voluptuous, filled with life and light. And there's usually a flash of a garter somewhere as well. Look at the colour involved in this. The spectacle. It's the childish way of painting, but the adult way of knowing. And I know that artists strive for that. There's 1975, an exhibition of his, painted by him, with people going to see, people of the clergy, people smoking, people with babies. Yes, so I've got a copy of that, and there's one similar to this, only very similar to that, only the man's wearing a dress and we call it bloke in a frock, which I'm sure is not PC at all, but makes me smile. A newborn and yet already adult nun. This can only be because we are not in a reality of our own, but in that of the painting. What to be shown? Scattered around a fruit basket. Forbidden fruits, even the bitten apple. The world is lost, but the sleeping forever newborn nun is source of hope. Hope for a virgin apple, one which has not yet been bitten into, the perfect fruit of nature. The candle bottom right is but a pale flame shedding light on a religious scene, but is it religious? In any case, pagan. Also, for Botero focuses less on ideas or historic stages than on concepts of eternity. Everything in this work is a matter of staging, parody, century-old truths, intisme, luminism, a hint of Georges de la Tour, zones of darkness, twilight glow and filtered light. It is here that everything is played out, is decided, accomplishes its destiny. The newly born nun looks dead, with her hands crossed and an unmoving pose, somewhat as if levitating. Is this death? Is it life? And does it matter? What is really at stake is painting and nothing else. The newborn nun is nothing other than the coffee pot in Braque's work, or Cézanne's Montagne Victoire, which is to say that she is deeply anchored in human experience and the passing of time. And I think sometimes people, it's just a painting. I think people really read too much into stuff. Andrew Marr is doing, Andrew Marr, the political correspondent, is doing a remarkable piece on the BBC about his favourite paintings. that's great fun. He's very passionate about it and generally speaking, isn't full of it, which a lot of art critics can be. Let's see what other things we've got. Reclining, the beautiful colours. Look at these beautiful oranges and reds and these creams. Stunning, stunning. And when you have these up on a wall, a lot of these pictures are huge, absolutely huge. You see here it's oil on canvas, 149 by 194 centimeters. That's 1.5 meters by very nearly 2 meters. That's a big painting. This 2.47 by 1.95 meters. Welcome. His motorbike is running better than mine at the moment. Woman putting on her brassiere. It's 2.5 meters by 2 meters. This is a massive piece of artwork. Huge, big motorcycles. I told you we'd have a lot of noise today, but it's too hot to have the windows closed, and I really wanted to do a video today. These are amazing. So I have copies of these, the pear and the orange, and you see here, you see the wee wiggly worm there. He's got a smile on his face. These things are 2.5 meters by 2 meters in size. There, and you see them in the flesh, as it were, which I actually did see in. We went to Den Haag to buy some prints because this is a long time ago, because you tended to be able to only buy prints, posters at an exhibition. And so we were in Amsterdam, and on the way back at Schiphol, we saw a big sign announcing an exhibition of his in Den Haag a few days later. So we spun around, we went back, and we bought ourselves a few posters / prints. Remarkably cheap, really. They cost more to have framed than they do to purchase. Lots, as you would imagine with somebody from South America, there's a lot of religious pictures involved in everything that he does. There's also Princess Margarita, and a lot of royalty stuff, the historical stuff that is way beyond me and over my head. This is Princess Margarita after Velázquez. Menina after Velázquez. Sometimes you think they're quite grotesque, but up close they're quite beautiful. Now I've got a copy of this, which was released in an exhibition in Japan, which is in my vestibule at my front door. And when my front door's open, which it is quite a lot, my neighbours, because it's a big poster, my neighbours walk by and it always makes them smile. And the little girl of the road absolutely loves it when the door's open. She can see this very strange picture of his version of the Mona Lisa. Beautiful shading, beautiful colours and expression, the expressive eyes for something which is just so blank, so plain, and yet very expressive. And of course this is why he's as huge as he is around the world. Painters, Botero says, painters have no other reason to paint than to create a world. Goya created one, but painters capable of doing so are rare, because such a world must be terribly severe and coherent, and at the same time as a painter must be uncompromising as to what constitutes this world. The world created must make you feel welcome through its poetry. In order to meet this challenge, you have to be radical sectarian, which I am, and which I have to be when it comes to painting, and it is in order to experience that rigor, that I paint watermelons, archangels, or men having a shoe shine. I change over from one canvas to another because there should be no doubt about that these watermelons, these archangels, and this man having a shoe shine all belong to the same world, namely mine, said Senor Botero. The rooftops of the villages where he grew up, so evocative of South America, so evocative. I mean, you can see that. You do not have to be there to realize that these are Latin American pictures. Well, it couldn't be anywhere else, could it? Beautiful. Look at the depth of the greens in this. I'm a great fan of green. I do like it. It's a wonderfully calming colour. You'll see down here in the corner my large rug, which is multiple shades of green, and I've got dark green walls in this room. This is hell. Oil on canvas, 1978. But it's his own world. The walk. The claustrophobic nature of this man who's can't see the wood for the trees. These are two that we own. We have quite a small, it's probably about this size actually, version of this, and similarly an old member of staff very kindly brought one back from Spain for me, because when we had a restaurant and we framed it and put it above the till. It's just, you see these people everywhere, you see these people, but especially then, his childhood in South America. I love these men trying to be men, but this is beautiful. The movement involved in this. You can see them swaying, you can hear the music. Little drunken revelries, evening drunken revelries, beautiful. And there's always the flash of somebody else's leg, or down here you've got a little doggy, and up here a little face out the window, peering, seeing what's going on. That green, maybe this is where I got it from unconsciously, but that green is the same green as on my walls over there. Lovely, delightful. This is musicians. This is the one I have in my dining room. And yet here, instead of people all staring off, they're all looking straight at you, except for the pianist and the oboist. Everyone else is looking straight at you. You are the audience. Beautiful colours. A ball in Colombia. Even this is 1.8 by 2.3 meters. It's a massive canvas. And I think you need to see a lot of these things. I think you need to see them in great size. Oh look, you can see where we've cut a few out. Well, why not? It cost us a lot of money. This thing cost us a great deal of money a long, long time ago. Yeah, I used to have teachers like her. Look at the wonderful colours. After Mantegna, 1980, oil on canvas, lots of religious. And those Catholics out there will know what this is all about. Beautiful, beautiful, wonderful golds. And the children are always being children. Little sneaky peek around the corner, seeing what's going on. By painting women the way you do you mean to pay homage to woman? Yes and no. Actually, that doesn't interest me. I'm a painter and not a composer of madrigals. If women are often my subject, it's because they've been one of the main subjects of paintings for centuries. What really guides me above all when I sculpt or paint men, women, animals, or objects is the plastic aspect of beings and things. Plasticity exists indiscriminately in a woman, a still life, or a landscape. So even there, he's being somewhat enigmatic about it. I'm sure it loses a lot in translation as well, but he's being enigmatic about how and why he paints women in this way. And men and fruit, for that matter, you know? Huge bananas, and there's bowls of fruit, and it's giant pears and giant oranges. This is very, very sweet, the picnic. We've got an oil copy of this, and a couple of these. Lord knows where they are now. All in storage somewhere. Often the nude is turned away. Cafe La Victoria. Beautiful, the tones in the wood, the way he's painted the grain, and the way things are deliberately out of size, but painted with such detail. These are the guy with the matador's friendly eyes, him, and his little pal. If I let my hair grow, I wonder if mine would look like that. There's a picture in here one of my sisters saw and said, "That's me." She does like to think of herself as larger than she is. I just adore these things. And some of them are quite brutal, the grimace in the face. And yet there's a blankness in the eyes which has, strangely, there's depth to them even though they're blank. It's a remarkable feat of artistry. He has sculptures around the world as well. A little picador with the horse's eyes covered so it can't be scared by the bull. Toro, 1987. I would not like to be in the ring with these fellas. Either him or him. Pose naturale. The vibrancy of the reds in this is astonishing. These things make you stop when you see something of this huge size, 2 meters by 2.5 meters, up on a wall. It makes you stop. Of course, my missus has got a great connection with these, having lived down there and taught children, young adults really, in that part of the world. It's a scary man, isn't it? Antonio Ventura Minuto. I wonder why he was called Minuto. Maybe he was only small. There's another version of dancers. He liked to paint dancers and musicians. That's just marvellous, isn't it? Little rosy knees and archangel wings. Beautiful. San Michel and the Archangel Gabriel. So that's Gabriel. And that's Saint Michel. And then Gabriel and an archangel. Gabriel again. That's a big set of pants. And an archangel. Has anyone seen Lucifer? Great fun. Great fun. Now he's the painter himself. The painter as the artist. And you can tell who's the most important person in this. It isn't the model. And it isn't the canvas, it's the painter. Smack bang in the middle. Self-portrait with model. You see the model doesn't even require a name. This reclining figure, this a poet. And this face pops up again and again and again. And they're either, there's another motor car with its radio blasting the sounds of summer. These faces of these men, they can be poets, musicians, or burglars. You know, that he's painting. I personally think he's painting one person, and I don't know who that person is. I'm sure if he's listening to me, he'll tell me I'm talking out my hat. 4 women. 4 women. We've all seen these 4 women. All of us grown-ups have been at nightclubs at the end of the night. We've seen these 4 women. The English ambassador. This was painted in 1987 from somebody from some time earlier. Yeah. No concept. He's not John Steed, is he? Let's see what else we've got to go on here. See, this is the man. This is the... look at me. I'm trendy. I live in Italy. Ciao, Bella. I'm a proper artist. I'm the person that people want to speak to and see. He's not a Rothko. He's not. He paints his own thing. He paints his own style. Look at the size of these canvas. And this is in 1969. The President and the First Lady. Astonishing. Astonishing. The colours are amazing. In order to your obese women with their opulent buttocks are always endowed with surprisingly small breasts and a tiny sex. Could you explain this contrast to me as well? In order to achieve the effect of monumentality and volume that I seek, the details, at least certain details, have to be small, so as not to detract from the mass. Monumentality comes across in the shock between proportions. For the work's force to burst forth, the drawing has to be very demanding on the outside and reduced to the extreme on the inside. The proportions are beautiful, beautiful. The colours. And I think he's taking a mickey out of a lot of these people quite regularly. And quite honestly, I think that he's telling them so, and they're not getting it. So, real life Boteros. You've got a picture of the man. This is the thing, you know, when these people have made it. Look at the dignitaries they hang out with, and the parties and exhibitions that they're invited to and celebrated over. One of his sculptures in Florence. I saw one of his pieces in New York a million years ago. It's huge sculpture. It's really quite. Again, it makes you stop. And the same thing in Den Haag. There was a wonderful sculpture in the fountain. Lots of things here which are basically catalogued. You know, the guy's painted, that's something else. Look at the number of paintings this man does. It's just 1 year, you know, that was 1981, 1980, 79. It's just bang, 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 non-stop. It must cost a fortune in canvas and paint. But these things are beautiful to have as coffee table books. I've got a great book I'll share with you next time, which is pieces of I was going to say a favourite movie of mine, but it's a favourite movie of so many. It's a facsimile book, so inside it, pick it up. It's heavy. Are some amazing pieces of the making of Some Like It Hard. You know, nobody's perfect, and I remember buying this in a bookshop in Oxford 25 years ago, something like that. Interview, scrapbook, talking about the film, the script. So next time we'll go over that. Well, thanks for listening, people. I hope you enjoyed it. And if we can get the sound right, which I think we have, I think we'll have some more good times and good chats. Take care. Stay safe. Please be careful out there. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.